Good evening, and welcome to 2L PUCKS Hockey Chat. Today is February 26th, and we are by ourselves this evening. Mr. Scotty is out of town, and we hope will be rejoining us for this upcoming, upcoming Sunday's edition. So, I'm at the helm, and have a few stories I'd like to touch on this evening, but just a general summary of some of the things that I guess I have the right by myself to kind of skew the broadcast maybe in the direction I'd like to. So we're very quickly going to touch on the latest acquisition of the New York Islanders, Jean-Gabriel Pageau, and his debut with the Islanders. And I think it was a good one. There was an Islander-Ranger game yesterday, and the Rangers won 4-3 in overtime. It was a great game. Both teams played well. Officiating was a little sketchy at best. I think initially the mindset of the officials was to let them play. And this might be a discussion for both Scotty and myself on a future broadcast, is consistency with officiating, not only with the officials themselves and being consistent, but I guess across the league, from game to game, that a team goes into a game and knows that they're going to get, well, they have an understanding, they have a grasp as what to expect and what they're going to get throughout the course of a game, every game, night in, night out. So I think the mindset of the officials last night in the Islander Ranger game was, okay, we're going to treat this as a playoff game. We're going to let the boys play. And to their credit, for the first period and a half, they were somewhat consistent with that. You know, you'd see something pretty flagrant against the Islanders, and everybody would arms up and be like, what the heck's going on? But then you'd see something go against the Rangers, and then nothing would be called there, and then arms up, and then people started to get the sense that, okay, they're going both ways with this. But then there was some, I don't know, there was an Islanders goal that was called off for goalie interference, which was a little sketchy. There was a hit on Michael Dalcol by Jacob Trouba, which rode a very fine line as far as Islanders claiming that Jacob Trouba, his feet left the ice. And if you look at the replay very carefully, his feet left the ice only after the contact, meaning he had nowhere else to go. He hit, and then just the natural direction of force of energy, he popped up. But the first point of contact was the head. And that was the most important thing, I think, for myself as an Islanders fan, and noticing, and just as a hockey fan, was no matter how slowly I replayed it, the first point of contact for Trouba was Michael Dalcol's head. So I know I'm just focusing on one game from last night. Like I said, broadcaster's choice here. So, but I think one of the major pieces of the game yesterday was the debut of Jean-Gabriel Pageau, and he was able to get the visa clearance and be able to play within 24 hours of the trade from Ottawa to the Islanders. So that was great. Islanders fans were thrilled, and Pageau didn't let anyone down. Came in, and you could see this guy just motors around the ice. He's just got a good motor, has a good sense for the net, where to be, and that proved itself in his first goal as an Islander. First game, he got his first goal. There was a shot by a defenseman close, just inside the blue line. Shot went way high, hit the glass behind, bounced back. No, the Rangers had no idea where it was. Pageau kept track of it and was able to calm the puck and then backhand it into the net before the goalie or any defenseman knew where it was. So kudos to him. He was in the right spot, the right time, exactly doing what he was supposed to do, and put the puck in. Didn't back down from anyone. As soon as Trouba put that hit on Dalcol, first Islander to engage Trouba was Pageau. Which was good because, and I think this is something that needs to be mentioned, is that it garnered the respect of the fans and his teammates, and probably a stick tap from the teammates, but I'm sure it made the coaching staff cringe, because they acquired Pajot for his penalty killing skills, for his face-off ability. At that point in the game where he engaged Trouba, he had won 10 to 14 face-offs, and was playing a solid game and was proving himself. Due to the fact he was an instigator in the fight with Trouba, because Trouba's hit on Delco ultimately was deemed legal by the NHL after a review. So here's Pajot engaging Trouba. He's given a 2-minute penalty for, he's got 2 minutes for instigation, and then he's for fighting, 5 minutes, and another 10 minutes. So he was out for the period. They lost him for pretty much the entire third period, which put the Rangers on a power play. Now, the score at the time, I believe, was 2-2. The Rangers go on a power play. Now the Islanders don't have Pajot, who was supposed to be one of their penalty killing guys. They don't have him on the penalty killing squad to take the face off, and the Rangers ultimately go on to score the goal to go up 3-2. So yes, I think that's a moment that Pajot's going to reflect on, and he's going to think twice about going forward, because here they are engaged in a battle with a division rival in the middle of a playoff race with the team that's pretty much right on their heels. So not the smartest play. I could see why he did it and what the knee-jerk reaction was, and wanting to stick up for a teammate and make that impression with the fan base and with his teammates first of all. But I believe that was a pivotal moment where it pretty much cost the Islanders the game. You could say yes, the Brock Nelson goal with 20 seconds left, and they got that goal. That was a huge goal, but that shouldn't have been a position they were in. If they would have still, they got that goal. They had pulled their goalie. They had a sixth skater. So, and then the Islanders get the point. They get the tie. They go into overtime. Within 20 seconds of overtime, the Rangers score on a blast by Zibanejad. I think a lot of guys would have made that shot. It was just a sitting puck right in the middle of the ice, nobody around, and Zibanejad just took a running start into it and slap shotted it right past Varlamov. So great game to watch, start to finish. It was exciting. The barn was rocking. It was a loud environment. A lot of fans, obviously a lot of Rangers fans on the island, and the Islanders were well represented. A good debut for Pajot. I think it was a learning experience, the type of thing that Trotz will sit him down and kind of give him perspective on things, on why that might not have been the best choice of plays. But once again, all the fans, everybody online, all the forums, everybody loves Pajot. He stuck up for his teammates. I get it. I think it was great. I think it's a little short-sighted. It doesn't take into consideration the big picture. I'm sure the teammates respected it as well, but I'm sure that there were some teammates that, also other teammates didn't rush in on that and engage Trouba. Maybe they get it. They know Trotz's message. Trotz has the team playing smart, and I'm not saying that Pajot wasn't smart. I totally get why he did what he did. I'm not going to crucify the guy. I think he's going to be an amazing Islander. He's a huge asset and a huge plus for the team. So good for him. But once he learns the Trotz system, I think how everybody supports everybody from the mental standpoint first, you're going to see, like, let's be smart here, and let's just play smart. I think he's going to get it really quick, and he's just an amazing player. So I'm very happy we have him. Good for him. A couple articles I'd like to review. So I'm looking here, and we're going to take a look at first article for the evening, and this is not going to be a long broadcast, but good news, bad news. I'm not sure which way. I think absolutely good news. I don't mean bad news, but let's get right into it. Let's do it this way, actually. So, um, Jay Bowmeister, Joe Bowmeester. He's feeling pretty normal and isn't sure about his hockey future, but it was announced today during a press conference that he will not play for the remainder of this regular season or playoffs. He is done for this season. He is not done in hockey. As he sat there in the press conference with the Blues general manager, Doug Armstrong, they stated very clearly that they need to review his options, but right now, because they know that he's not playing the rest of the season, he has time. Let him recover. Let him get his, thoughts together. Let him get his make sure physically after his follow-up with doctors in St. Louis and both in California, because remember, they were playing Anaheim, and Anaheim doctors were right there on the scene along with the St. Louis trainers. So both California and St. Louis doctors are in touch with him on a regular basis. So he will have follow-up appointments. We'll see how things play out and unfold. But his hockey future is not over. It's not over. It hasn't officially been announced as such. We just wish him the best. It's great to see him sitting there. He looks great. And he's sitting there with Armstrong next to him. Good for him. It's really good to see that he bounced back from this. So I'm really happy to see that. All right, so that's the Bowmeester update. We're going to move forward over to another article here, which is really quick. And I mean, I just want to touch on it because it's not nothing too crazy, but Laviolette named head coach of the 2020 U.S. men's national team. So the general manager, Chris Drury, says it's great to have Peter as our head coach. He brings significant international experience, both as a player and a coach, and his passion and desire to win align with our goal of bringing home the gold medal. Laviolette has previously represented the United States in international competition on numerous occasions in several different capacities. He most recently served as head coach of the 2014 U.S. men's national team that won 5 of its 8 games in the 2014 IIHF Men's World Championship in Minsk, Belarus. Laviolette was also an assistant coach for the 2014 U.S. Olympic men's hockey team in Sochi, Russia, and was the head coach of the 2006 U.S. Olympic men's ice hockey team in Torino, Italy. Prior to that, Laviolette was head coach of the U.S. men's national team at the IIHF Men's World Championship in back-to-back years, 2004 and 2005, leading the United States to the bronze medal in 2004. Whew, take a breath. He's great. I mean, as we know, it's funny how you watch how things play out in the with coaches throughout the course of an NHL season. Coaches get let go. They get hired, they get fired. He's it's funny how coaches get moved around. But you look at a guy like Laviolette, and good for him for landing such a significant position. I'm sure he's going to do great. And kudos to him. It's definitely a good signing and a really good thing. Puts the U.S. hockey team in a really good position. So congratulations, Mr. Laviolette. All right, so we're going to move forward. There has been talk. I don't want to get into it much. Just one thing to mention with the coronavirus. Just want to put things in maybe a little bit of perspective. How the coronavirus is affecting car industries. It's affecting car shows. It's affecting sports arenas, concerts. It's affecting all parts of everyday life. But a couple stats from today that just in doing some basic research and hearing members of the CDC talk, I'm not at that point where I'm going to be as frantic as the media likes to play things up to. But of the 80,000 cases that are out there, or 81,000 cases, there's less than 3,000 fatalities. And that's due to people having a weakened immune system that can't handle this virus. And to put that into perspective, there's close to 70,000 deaths every year due to the flu. So I think we need to take a deep breath, make sure we have all our facts straight on it. If you haven't done research on it, do the research. Learn how to be preventative. But I know that this talk about people second guessing whether they should go into public arenas or public spaces and so on. I think if you're smart, if once again you do your research, don't panic, and don't take the media for the franticness they like to create. Use your own head and be smart, and make sure you do your own research and get the facts. That's it. That's all I wanted to say. Last story I wanted to touch on, which is a really cool one, is the story of a National Junior Predators coach picked to play in National Women's Hockey League. Allie LaCombe signed a contract with the Connecticut Whale hockey team. Now, this girl is, I think, 25 years old, 26 years old, and she's already coaching, teams in Tennessee. She's doing multiple coaching jobs, and she works at a rink. She's coaching and teaching, and she's on the ice 25 hours a week already. 26 years old. So she's going to be balancing a lot, and she goes on to say, all of the coaching and conditioning really translated well. I'm on the ice 20 to 25 hours a week. It pays off with stick handling, shooting, and game-like awareness. She said, I'm very vocal and energetic, so it's easy to fit in right away with her professional team. That's awesome. It's good to see a story like this where, a hockey fanatic like herself gets her shot, and very happy for her. So congratulations to Allie LaCombe. Kudos. That's awesome. Last story, or the last thing I'm just going to mention, since we have a couple minutes and not to make this broadcast too short, is just a quick glance. What's going on tonight in the NHL? So we're going to take a quick look at courtesy of NHL.com. Avalanche leading the Sabres 2-1 with 9:51 left in the second period. We have the Golden Knights at the Oilers starting in about an hour and a half, and Penguins at the Kings. And touching on the Golden Knights, I think a very smart move on their end before the trade deadline with Robin Lehner. Really shoring up that goalie situation. Fleury and Lehner, it seems like a pretty formidable 1-2 punch, if you ask me. We've seen what Lehner can do behind a solid team, behind a solid defensive core, as he did with the Islanders 2 years ago, or a year ago, I should say. And it looks like he's going to be in a very good position for himself with the Golden Knights. So they're looking really, really tough lately. They're playing very tough hockey, and very quickly, within a lot of analysts and sports writers, becoming a top favorite to go on deep into the playoffs and maybe a cup contender. So kudos to them. And that's it. Once again, we are live on Periscope, and any questions, comments, suggestions, you can always reach us at 2oldpucks excuse me, 2oldpucks@gmail.com. We're at 2oldpucks on Twitter, Facebook, 2oldpucks Hockey Chat on Facebook, and 2oldpucks on YouTube. So we will be back this Sunday at 9 p.m. Thank you very much for joining. Scotty should be back in the mix. And that's it. I thank you very much for joining us this evening. Hope everyone has a good night. Thank you very much.